May 16th, 2019. Neymar Jr. is in a hotel room in Paris for the second night in a row. The young woman whom he shares the room with is unknown, at least for the moment. But a lot will change in the following days. For starters, the world will get to know Najila Trindade Mendes de Souza, a 26-year-old model, interior design student, a daughter, a mother, and in her own words, a normal person. But in 2 weeks' time, nothing will be remotely close to normal in her life, right after she walks out of a Sao Paulo police station accusing Neymar of her. The disturbing news spreads like wildfire in no time. Neymar and his team fire back with their own versions of the story. And apart from the duo meeting in an upscale hotel in Paris, the two stories do not check out with one another whatsoever. Thus starts the mind-boggling case of Trindade versus Neymar Jr., a case even the Brazilian president got involved in, a case that allegedly became a huge deal-breaker for one giant apparel brand and provided an opportunity for the other, a case so full of twists and turns that the complainant became the accused at the end. 4 years down the line, no one still knows what really happened in that hotel room on the night of May 15th. What we know is the questions it left behind. How did Neymar and Trindade meet? When did they decide to hook up? And at what point things took a bad turn? Why did the rest of Trindade's hidden camera footage never really surface? How come she ended up being charged with procedural fraud, slanderous denunciation, and extortion? Welcome back to Football Files. Today, we're taking a deep dive back into the scandal which was too much, even for Neymar. Prologue, June 1st, 2016, New York City. Neymar and Michael Jordan are together at a launch event. The duo are collaborating for Nike's new shoe range. After a rather uneventful evening, apart from the two icons coming together that is, Neymar decides to end the night on a higher note and parties hard in a nightclub. In the early hours of June 2nd, allegedly, the Brazilian is too intoxicated to get back to his room by himself. So the hotel staff contacts a marketing executive from Nike and a colleague of hers to accompany Neymar. For a brief moment, the marketing executive finds herself alone in the room with Neymar, and that's when the Brazilian allegedly takes off his underwear and tries to force her to perform oral. When she refuses and tries to leave, Neymar's response, again allegedly, is to block the door. And when she does get out of the room, he follows her down the corridor of the hotel half-naked. The alleged victim shared what happened on that night in detail first with her family and friends, and then with a few colleagues. But it remained a sort of well-kept secret within her circle until 2018, when other women at Nike came forward and shared their negative experiences in a survey about the way women are treated at the company. That's when the alleged victim came forward and talked about the night in detail with the company's human resources. Even though no further action was taken, another story, eerily similar in nature happening on the other side of the Atlantic 3 years down the line, pursued the company to open up a serious investigation. And that was the story featuring none other than Najila Trindade Mendes de Souza. Act 1. The Hookup.
Era intuito sexual, era desejo meu. Acho que ficou até claro para ele isso.
Najila Trindade never really denied what her intentions were when she met Neymar. It was the 26-year-old model who reached out to the Brazilian in the first place through Instagram. Messages followed by a few photos, not nudies or anything. As she later declared, led to her giving Neymar her phone number to follow the conversation over on WhatsApp. After a brief exchange on the platform, Neymar asked Trindade to meet him in Paris, and when she told him that she didn't have the means to get there, the Brazilian offered her a round trip between Sao Paulo and Paris, and a couple of nights stay at Sofitel, Paris, Arc de Triomphe. When Trindade landed in Paris, she had no second thoughts regarding her motivation.
De ficar com ele, de encontrar com ele.
Isso
De
seria
realizar
possível.
desejo meu.
So what was the deal breaker when everything was seemingly going according to plan? On May 15th, Trindade checked into Sofitel Paris, and shortly after, Neymar sent her a text message telling her that he'll need to attend a party later in the day, but he wanted to come by before and give her a kiss.
Quando eu chego lá, tava tudo bem, tava tudo legal as mensagens. Eu ia conseguir, entendeu? Só que quando eu cheguei lá, ele estava agressivo, totalmente diferente daquele cara que eu conheci nas mensagens.
According to Trindade, after exchanging a few kisses and rolling around the bed for a while, Neymar undressed her. That's when she asked the Brazilian if he brought a condom with him. Upon Neymar's negative response, she said that in that case, this would be as far as they go. Allegedly, Neymar did not respond, and Trindade took his silence as confirmation of her desire to stop then and there. The two were not on the same page, though, at least according to the young woman's version of the story.
E ele me virou, cometeu o ato, e eu pedi para ele parar. Enquanto ele cometia o ato, ele continuava batendo na minha bunda violentamente. E depois eu girei. Foi tudo muito rápido, questão de segundos, e me retirei.
Following the alleged act, Trindade was in a state of shock, and as she recalled later, she couldn't even cry on the spot. The very next day, when she finally came to terms with the event, instead of getting back to Brazil, she made up her mind to make Neymar pay. That was why she continued to exchange messages with the Brazilian and even met with him the very next day, in an attempt to get him to repeat the aggression of the first encounter and film it. But to this day, only a few seconds of what is believed to be a 7-minute clip made public. Upon her return to Brazil, Trindade talked to a lawyer, but the man in question refused to represent her, telling her that she may build a case for assault, but not for while she was busy finding someone willing to take her case exactly like she told it. The whole story was taking a right turn. Act 2. The turn of events.
Estou sendo acusado de... É uma palavra pesada, uma coisa muito forte, mas é o que está acontecendo no momento.
Neymar and his team were quick in their response, while his father, Neymar Sr., revealed on Brazilian television the identity of Najila Trindade Mendes de Souza. In claiming the innocence of his son, Neymar himself took to Instagram and addressed the allegations. The fact that he showed private messages between him and Trindade, with all the sexual details involved, meant that the video infringed the platform's privacy regulations. But by the time it was taken down, Neymar's post was seen over 18 million times, and the floodgates were wide open. Only the caption of the post was enough to change the entire discourse around the story. Due to extortion, I'm being forced to expose my life and my family. While the superstar used his platform to address the allegations and how they made him feel, his father was on the attack. Neymar Sr. was claiming that the whole story was part of a blackmail and extortion attempt led by Trindade and her ex-husband, Estevão Alves. Trindade vehemently denied the allegations and told SBT Brazil that her lawyer had told her that he would simply let Neymar's lawyers know about what was going on. All the while, with her anonymity lost, Trindade became the subject of immense criticism online, and Brazilians started to dig deep into her life. Within a few days, everyone in the country knew that the 26-year-old had close to a $30,000 debt and that she was given a notice of eviction. All the conversation was now centered around a desperate woman trying to solve her financial problems by any means necessary. Jair Bolsonaro, the then president of Brazil and a politician Neymar is known to openly support, visited the player in hospital while he was in treatment for a ligament injury in his ankle. Bolsonaro's open support for Neymar was followed by a new law proposed in Congress by one of the members of his party, suggesting increased penalties against those making false sexual accusations. The bill was quickly dubbed as the Neymar da Penha Bill among Neymar's supporters, a mock of the Maria da Penha law, which was put in place after years of struggle by feminist groups, which was established to reduce domestic violence mainly by increasing punishment for domestic abuse offenders. For so many people close to the matter, in a country where only 1 out of every 10 is reported and just 1 in 100 leads to a conviction, the reaction was not surprising. Act 3. The verdict. Within a month of Trindade's allegations, São Paulo police investigator Juliana Lopes Busacos came to a conclusion and revealed in a press conference that she did not see enough elements to indict. The fact that Trindade first refused to let the investigators take a look into her phone to analyze the 7-minute-long footage she filmed and later claimed that her phone was stolen made everything clearer in the eyes of the public. Neymar was now in the clear, and the charges against Trindade and her ex-partner were dropped a few months later. The mind-boggling case was closed with no conviction for either side, which saw Neymar and Trindade exchange seats as defendant and plaintiff. Epilogue. Across the pond. Having read the details of the case, the anonymous Nike employee went ahead and asked about the status of her complaint from 3 years earlier, and she was dumbfounded when the company officials responded that they didn't think she wanted them to proceed. As she communicated openly that she did want them to do so, Nike called in an external law firm to investigate. And according to the apparel brand, they decided to remove Neymar from their campaigns when he refused to cooperate with the investigators. Neymar had his own version of the story in which he claimed that the separation was only due to commercial reasons. Everyone's free to believe whichever version of the story, but that doesn't change the fact that Nike and Neymar were separated after being in a commercial relationship for over a decade. Oh, and that was how the Brazilian became a Puma athlete.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can win cool prizes. And by prizes, I mean surprise. There's no prizes. It's a free YouTube video, you greedy. Just click the video, man. Why you want free things on free things?